Whee! That's all you want to do with this bike. There it is, guys. Surprise, surprise, this is a Ducati. We couldn't just buy a Kawasaki and not buy another Ducati, right? But we've been waiting for this bike since it got released, or since they had talked about the release of this beautiful Hypermotard V2 SP. I've always been a huge fan of Hypermotards, and this is such a big change for the Hypermotard, getting that V2 engine in. A lot of people are saying Ducati's losing its character. To me, they're not. And this, for me, I've been riding it for a little bit now. I think we've put on maybe like 35-50 miles on it since we got it, because I just want to ride it. Let me take you guys on a ride, because we'll do it like that. New bike reveal and the first ride in the same video. Let's take it for a ride. Let's talk about this Hypermotard V2 SP and how much fun it is. We'll also talk about the price, because the price might shock some of you guys, because it's got what we call Duca tax on it. So let's hop on it, let's take it for a ride, and let's see what this Hypermotard is all about. I wasn't expecting it to swing out so much. Here it is, guys, the Hypermotard V2 SP. I love riding this bike. You guys know, when we had our Hypermotard 698 mono, I've always said that it's one of the most fun bikes ever. This turns up the fun a little bit up, because it has a V2 engine and it has a lot more grunt. So you could try to do silly things. I should probably give you guys a disclaimer. If you don't have self-control, you shouldn't be riding a Hypermotard, because it makes you do silly things. The life of a motorcyclist, the traffic things here didn't pick up that we're here to give us a advanced left turn signal, but it's okay. Let's get to the bike before we do silly things, or before I start doing silly things or trying to do silly things. This is the new V2 SP with the new V2 engine. I believe the engine is very similar to the Multistrada V2, but it's a derivative of the Panigale V2 as well. And there is a lot of criticism in the sport bike world, or in the motorcycling world, from people who don't own or ride Ducati, saying they've lost their edge and it doesn't feel like it anymore, and the Ducatis don't feel like Ducatis. All right, I haven't ridden the Ducatis from 1098 and down, but I've ridden everything and owned a few of everything that's come about since. I know I'm on a Ducati. It hasn't lost anything. What it's lost is the choppy throttle that the old Hypermotards had. You couldn't do this, it buck you off the bike. The new electronics package on this bike is so good. And the only reason why I've never bought a Hypermotard is because I couldn't stand how rough the bike was. Because you buy this bike to ride around places like this, right? In town, and of course if you have twisty roads, it's going to be a lot of fun on the twisties too. In a city setting, in an urban setting, these bikes have a lot of their owners, especially in cities like New York and Miami and LA. So it not being crazy choppy on the throttle and being smooth like this, where in first gear it's not breaking your neck and bucking you off and it's comfortable, it's a big plus. And this is of course the V2 SP model of the Hypermotard V2 lineup. SP stands for Sport Performance. It has older suspension, grippier tires, also probably a different electronics package for in terms of the track use, but you could correct me if I'm wrong. I really didn't look up the specs of it. The livery itself, the color is so nice. I know Ducati released their 100-year anniversary model, and I was really thinking getting the Hypermotard because it's such a nice bike, but I think this looks so good. I don't know how, I didn't even inquire to see how much the 100-year anniversary was, and I bet you it was going to be more than this bike. This paint scheme is absolutely amazing, and we'll pull over so that I could show you guys the bike somewhere, but I just wanted to get out and get away from all this construction and traffic so that we could talk about all the other stuff of this motorcycle. But I think the biggest improvement, especially if you've been riding a Hypermotard or if you've ever tested a Hypermotard, is that this engine is butter smooth compared to the 950 and the previous variants of the Hypermotard. When you're on it, you know you're on a Hypermotard because the design language is the same. The new updated dash is beautiful. and I have it on race mode so that, I don't know, I'm not racing, but that's what I have it on. You could play around with it. I'll show you some of the menu options too to tell you what you're getting for your money. And this bike is not a low cost or budget option whatsoever. I believe it's around $24,000-$25,000 out the door, or maybe a little bit more than that. So you really would want to have a Hypermotard to pay that price. If you could afford it, I think it's worth every single penny. Also, with the SP variant, you do get the forged wheels. I believe the regular V2 models are not going to come with the forged wheels, which also helps with the whole handling aspect of it, because it makes the bike feel a lot more nimble and a lot lighter. But as you see, this is what most people do with their Hypers. And if you're lucky enough to live around canyons like in LA or in twisty roads of Georgia, North Carolina, this thing will be a hell of a package that you could ride it on the street just like this, do your daily commute, go run your errands, and then run around those back roads and have a lot of fun with it. And I think if you have a go-kart track, you may be able to take it out on there as well. A Tesla test drive gone wrong is getting a ticket for not being noisy enough. Of course, this bike is just released. The Termignoni race option is available in the US, so you can get the race exhaust from your dealership with the up map, but the slip-on, for whatever reason, is not available in the US. I think it may have to do with some of the rules and regulations of the exhaust systems and what they're able to sell or not sell in the United States. Of course, we will be having it available for you guys if you guys are looking for that Termignoni factory slip-on for the Hypermotard. We actually have one on order for this bike, and as far as I'm concerned, the Aero link pipe is going to work on this, the one that works on the Panigale V2. That's all you want to do with this bike, is get on the throttle and do a little power wheelie until you get to your corner. There's a lot of construction going around in town, and this almost feels like staged because it feels very urban right now where we're riding, but there's also a lot of law enforcement around. So let's try to get out of these places and let's go to other places. Quickshifter, right? Up and down. Kind of clunky, but it works. It suits the character of the bike. It's not the smoothest quickshifter, but again, you're on a Hypermotard. I feel like it suits the character, as I said, and I don't remember the Panigale V2, the V2S perhaps, being this clunky for the shifts. Doesn't feel hot. It's already at 207 Fahrenheit, which is fully warmed up, and it doesn't have the heat from Ducatis, but it does have the price tag of the Ducatis, right? I mentioned it already, of how expensive or how many dollars you got to part with to have this bike. And I'm gonna say it again, if you could afford it, it's a lot of fun. I was a big fan of the 698 mono, but this has so much more character if you're looking for that Ducati character, because when you pull the throttle, it has that grunt, and you could be sure with an exhaust it's going to sound much nicer. That 698 mono sounded better, but the single cylinder sound is not my favorite, and it's not very Ducati-like to me. It reminded me of scooters. Not even our Vespa sounds throatier than that 698 mono that we had with the Acura slip-on. But this is exactly what you do in a city with a Hyper. You go out for a ride and you really get to enjoy riding around town more than a sport bike can offer you in terms of enjoyment around town. You could mess around, you could start weaving around if you just don't want to go straight anymore, and I wish we had turns and everything. It's super manageable. I don't know if I would recommend this as a first bike to somebody. I would say start with a mono, get used to it. You're not going to lose a lot of money if you swap out from a mono to another bike, because they're already very approachable in terms of Ducati pricing, that is. Let's talk about the mirrors, right? That's what we got to talk about. These are the stock mirrors. We're going to replace them. Mirrors actually work. They do move around a lot, but you can still see out of it, even though it's a little blurry at times. Maybe the suspension is a little too stiff for these bumpy roads that we're on. It does have the Öhlins forks and shocks because it's the SP model, but Listen to this, even the stock exhaust, it pops and crackles at times too, and it does the burp when you shift, and it's going to be much louder. And oh, I don't know what's going on, guys, but sure. But yeah, going back to the exhaust, that exhaust note is going to get much louder with just the slip-on, and once we put the link pipe, the decap pipe, it's going to be much lighter, and it gets rid of all the restrictions in terms of power restrictions on the exhaust. And I bet you sooner or later UpMap will release its UpMap for this bike. We got to get out of here, I don't want to hit traffic. But this is great. You see, you could just move around and go through cars legally and try to make your way around the city. And the rough roads, I mean, it's a little stiff. I'm not going to say it doesn't bother you, but look at that C63 AMG convertible, beautiful. But you could run around like this. Getting on the highway, there's no protection over here for the wind. I don't know if I would really commute long ways on the highway with this because of the lack of the windshield that it has. But for doing this kind of stuff, it's actually refreshing to get this much air to cool me down. And of course, I always tell you guys, and I always show you guys on my ride reviews, I'm fully geared up. I got my gloves, my jacket, my airbag vest, Kevlar jeans, and my Alpine Stars boots, because you want to make sure that you're riding safe and protected. Even though it is nearly 90 degrees outside now in Miami, summer's coming. Really, it's not about just the temperature, it's also the humidity has started to move in on us. But it's kind of cloudy, so it's sparing me from the sun. It's got plenty of power. That's not even full throttle, and I don't know if I need or want any more power in a setting like this. You could also adjust the ABS settings to turn off rear ABS and race mode, so you could do your slides, back it into a turn in your little go-kart track that you want to take it out to. We're already going 33 miles an hour, and I can tell you that the wind is very present, so if you want to commute on it, be ready for it. It might get to you. And I'm riding with the XT4 or XT5 Arai helmet. I have both. I don't know which one is on my head right now. Maybe one of you guys can say what it is. I think this is the XT4. It does get a lot of wind noise as well. I also don't have the beak in front of it, as you can see. I just want to keep on riding. The brakes feel super sharp. I actually just filmed the ZX-10R first ride video as well while I was geared up. I said that let me jump on this Hypermotard SP and get this video out of the way too, since the weather is holding up and the rain is stopped for a day at least here in Miami. Compared to, it has the same calipers, I believe, on it as that ZX-10R does, but the brakes feel so much sharper. I'm trying to see if it's the same calipers. It's the M4s or the M50s. It's the M50, so it is the same calipers as the ZX-10R. And this does have a OEM Brembo Master too. I just don't know why that ZX-10R feels so bad, but what I could tell you this is that this bike, the brakes feel sharp enough that it doesn't want me to put another Master on it, because maybe for track use this Master might let you down after some really enthusiastic laps. In terms of street riding, the brake feel is direct, feels amazing. It has auto canceling turn signals, which our ZX-10R didn't have. I'm heading closer and closer towards downtown Miami, guys, so that we could pull up in front of some of these beautiful buildings you see and take a look at this bike too. And we're heading into more and more traffic as I do this. The brakes are definitely more than adequate and gives you the confidence that you need. Ooh, they're delivering Ferraris to Ferrari. That's the car hauler that I see. Look at these beautiful machines. Well, we're on the Ferrari of the motorcycle world, and I may tip off some of you guys by saying that, but it is true. Ferraris are mostly red and Italian. So is Ducatis are mostly red and Italian. They have their lovers and haters. So this makes this bike the Ferrari of two wheels. We could just get in here like this, and I believe that is the beautiful Rolls Royce Phantom, and in front of us is a undercover police officer, and that bus just came left from a right turn only lane. I love our local bus drivers. They follow all the rules, guys. What an absolutely amazing day. I'm on the new V2 SP, the Hypermotard V2 SP, in downtown Miami, surrounded by these beautiful buildings, riding this absolutely amazing bike. Again, I don't have to do silly things. Just knowing how silly this bike is makes it even that much fun to ride. I can't do a lot of silly things in the downtown area and on camera as well, but you can be sure that I probably misbehave a few times when I ride this thing. Let's see if it can pull off here on the sidewalk, get off this bike, because I don't know if there's anything else to talk about in terms of the looks, because the riding is absolutely fantastic. As I said, it's nimble, it's light, you could throw it around, not as light as a 698 mono. It has a lot more power than that. So if you are a new rider, I would say proceed it with caution. It is quite lively on the throttle. It does like to do wheelies, and if you cannot hold yourself back and really respect the machine, I would hate for you to get yourself in trouble. The biggest improvement over the previous generations of the Hypermotard has been the electronics and the throttle and the smoothness of the engine. Don't get me wrong, you still get that vibration from the engine, but this throttle is not choppy. It's not bucking me off the bike, which makes it very pleasant for rides like this. And also, believe it or not, on track, you don't want a choppy track. You want to be able to get on the throttle as smoothly as possible without upsetting the bike. The display is very nice. The menu functions are great. The graphics and everything, it makes you feel like you're getting what you paid for. And of course, the hardware that the bike comes with too, right? You're getting a Ducati engine, you're getting best of the best Öhlins suspension, you're getting best of the best Brembo brakes, and I'm not saying you're getting the best Brembo brakes and the best Öhlins suspension, but you are getting the best brand name when it comes to braking and suspension. And also the wheels are now, they're not Marchesini's anymore, they're forged by Ducati. Ducati's forging their own wheels. You're getting a forged wheel. I'll show you in a second where I'm going to pull off that it does come with a carbon fiber front fender, to my surprise. Let's try to get in front of this guy. Is this a right turn place? It is. We could try to turn right over here and pull off to the side and show you the bike so that we could end this first ride, so that the camera can come off and the silliness can start. And let's see how maneuverable it is. Oh, put my foot down. I need to do the MSF course again, guys, after 20-30 years. I don't know about that, but let's see. Let's try to do it again. Oh, there you go. Manageable. Let's rev it a little so you guys can hear it. So this bike is completely stock right now, but DBK has also released a lot of products for it already. But if you take a look at the bike, this thing looks absolutely stunning. If you're not a bike rider, you could tell this is some special bike. I don't know what this 20 means, so if anybody knows what that 20 stands for, let me know. But this new design of the tail, this looks like the Panigale's tails, which is a very nice incorporated piece into it. We're going to get rid of this fender so that this thing can look all nice in the back. It's going to make even that real tailpiece pop even more. And the brake lights are here. It's very small and thin, but it almost looks like a rain light that you could see. That exhaust is going to go up. These are the wheels that I was talking about, which are the Ducati wheels that are forged by Ducati. That's our front carbon fiber fender. This is absolutely an amazing machine if you can afford it. I know that price range puts you into the bracket of a lot of different bikes, very sporty bikes, but you are getting one of the most fun street bikes, urban bikes, and also this thing will hold its own with an above average rider on a track day, on some of the twisty roads. It looks amazing. And these turn signals, let's show these, because they're integrated into the handguards now, which look really good. You could get rid of your mirrors if you want, but we're going to replace the mirrors and put other mirrors on it because I'd like to see behind me. And of course, you know that we already have the TWM fuel cap for this thing. Let's look at the menus too, and I'll let you go because I want to ride this thing. So if you go to menu options, the graphics are great. It's not the largest screen, but if you go to settings, And if you want to go to vehicle settings, advanced settings, you see it lights up. It has all of these nice displays of what you're adjusting, your power mode, and it goes to the ABS, the traction control, wheelie control, engine braking control, the quick shifter, and then you can play with your power modes and everything else as well. I think this is my honest first ride review. We don't get paid by the manufacturers. This is not a motorcycle that was given to us as a loaner. We purchased it with our own money, and this was my quick honest review. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Until next time, guys, have a good one. It is hot. We got to get out of here and head back to the studio where there is AC. It doesn't have a fuel gauge. I should have mentioned that. This is so much fun. This makes you feel like a kid on his bicycle with a lot of power. There's a fellow bike rider that's coming too. Look at that. What is that, a Yamaha or a Kawasaki? It ain't no Harley. Whee!